cut across to breaking news coming in. Kerala story makers who are now making a U-turn before the Kerala High Court. The makers tell the Kerala High Court that the maintainability of the case should be decided before the movie is screened for the judges tomorrow. In the morning session, the court had asked the makers to arrange a screening and the makers had agreed to do so. High Court said that the makers don't seem keen on the court watching the movie. The matter is now to be considered tomorrow by the High Court. Let me take this to my colleague Nalini to understand what this means, Nalini, with the makers making a demand asking the court to decide on the maintainability before they watch the film. Is it in the hands of the makers to file a plea like that, to make a demand like that? What is the High Court likely to decide tomorrow?
Well, Suresha, it's interesting what's happening because this was essentially a PIL that was filed before the Kerala High Court on which this entire hearing was being conducted. So even though in the first half, in the pre-lunch session, the makers had agreed that they will screen the movie for the judges for them to be able to watch the movie before taking a decision tomorrow. But when they came back after the post-lunch session, which means that they'd gotten the lawyers for the producers, had gotten some time to speak to the makers themselves and find out whether or not the screening can happen. In the post-lunch session, they came back and they told the bench that first the bench must decide whether this is actually a public interest litigation or whether this is a publicity or a private interest litigation that has instead been filed before the Kerala High Court. So before the screening takes place, this needs to be decided. The maintainability of this plea needs to be decided by the High Court is what the makers said, to which the judges responded, saying that it seems like the makers are not keen to screen the movie at all. The matter was not heard for long. It was just a barely 2 to 3 minute hearing that happened in the post-lunch session, after which the judge decided that the matter will be taken up tomorrow. But what this means essentially, Suesha, is that the screening tomorrow might not be certain. It's still, there's a cloud still hanging over the entire screening as to whether or not it will happen tomorrow. Will depend on the hearing that happens before the High Court first.
All right, Nalini, do stay on. Let's also take this to our colleague Shivimol, who's been tracking all the developments on this story. Shivimol, to really understand two things. Can the court object on the title of the film, given the fact that even the makers have accepted that these are pan-India stories? These are not stories that are just restricted to Kerala. Can they also decide whether the film will be released in Kerala itself, just the state of Kerala? And can they also mark edits or lay conditions on how the film releases in Kerala? Also the fact that the film with the original release date on the 27th. Now, with the delay that we see with the Kerala High Court watching the film tomorrow and now tomorrow to decide the maintainability, is there a possibility that there will be a delay in the release date if that is so?
Well, there could possibly be a delay because we have seen these kind of instances before also where the films have not released on the scheduled date earlier because of the proceedings that's happening in the court. To answer your first question, yes, there could be a possibility. We have seen in the past, like when a film like Janaki versus State of Kerala came before the Kerala High Court, there was a requirement that the name had to be edited and they had to add an initial before Janaki saying that it's V Janaki versus State of Kerala. So we have seen slight changes being added to names of the films, but this is if you're renaming and removing Kerala from Kerala story, then the entire identity of that film is being completely removed. So we don't know if the court will go to that extent of asking them to change the name entirely, but there could be some suggestions that might come in based on the court's decision after watching the film. But yes, there could be a delay in the release also because as of now, after the second hearing, after the morning hearing, the court had ordered to hear the matter at around 1:45. After that, it looks like the court has not yet decided when and where to watch the film. So in the morning hearing, the court had directed the makers to decide a time and decide a place and inform the court as to where the court can watch the film. But that has not been decided yet. So possibly in tomorrow's hearing, in the morning session, they might listen to all of it, all the arguments again. There are multiple issues that's been raised in the afternoon. So all of that will be heard by the court. And if possible, the court will watch the film in the evening. If not, it will be done on a later date. That means the film's release might get delayed. Based on stalling the release of the film in Kerala, that is very unlikely because we have never heard that such instances, at least in the recent past, even when the Kerala Story 1 was released, it was not banned by the Kerala government, or there was no bans as such imposed by the courts also. So that is a very less possibility. There's very less possibility as far as that is concerned. But changes, yes, that we have seen today. Court also hinted at it, saying that when a film like Hal was brought before the court had suggested certain certain additions and certain additions to the film, and certain scenes had to be edited. So in that case, Kerala story might also have to go through it, is what the court clearly said today. So there could be some changes here and there, but not really to that extent of the film being stopped from screening in Kerala.
All right, crucial day tomorrow for the makers of the film. Shibi, I request you to stay on with us as we have more news coming in from Kerala. Nalini, many thanks for putting that into perspective for us. And moving on, God's own country, Kerala, gets a new name. The state may soon be officially called Keralam. Now, this is a significant move as the centre has approved the proposal to rename Kerala to Keralam. The Kerala Assembly had earlier unanimously passed a resolution urging the central government to amend the constitution and officially adopt the name Keralam, which reflects the state's cultural and linguistic identity in Malayalam. If cleared, the proposal will mark a historic step in aligning the state's official name with its traditional usage. The centre's decision comes at a crucial time ahead of the upcoming assembly elections.
तब से एक बड़ी डिमांड थी कि केरला का नाम केरलम होना चाहिए, जो कि मलयालम भाषा में केरलम कहा जाता है, इसलिए इसका नाम केरलम होना चाहिए। ये बड़े लंबे टाइम से डिमांड रही है। इस डिमांड को आज यूनियन कैबिनेट ने अप्रूवल दिया और इसका एक पूरा प्रोसेस है जिसमें राज्य सरकार और राज्य की विधानसभा का भी बड़ा रोल है। माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी केरला ऑल्ट्रेशन ऑफ नेम बिल 2026 ये राज्य की विधानसभा के पास भेजेंगे इसको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, और उनके राज्य की विधानसभा के निर्णय के आने के बाद में भारत सरकार इसमें अगला स्टेप लेगी।
Shibimol, coming back to you, well, the way mostly seems clear. How soon can the change reflect, and what really has gone behind?
Well, you know, it's been a long-standing demand by the state to change the name from Kerala to Keralam in English also, because in Malayalam we call it Keralam. So when it was included in the constitution, it was written as Kerala. So that was a point raised by the government here. In 2023, one resolution was passed, but they had to reintroduce the resolution 2024 due to some technical errors in the first resolution. So in 2024, the Kerala Assembly unanimously passed a resolution requesting the centre to change the name from Kerala to Keralam in English also. And Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijay at that time said that, you know, the states were formed based on languages on November 1st in 1956. Kerala's birth anniversary is also on November 1st. So, but when the name of our state was included, it was included as Kerala in the first schedule of the constitution. So that needs to be changed, and the Assembly unanimously, you know, urged the centre to make amendments in the constitution and change the name from Kerala to Keralam. So that has been a demand, because if you see any other state's name, it's the same in the local language as well as in the English language. But only for Kerala, if we see, it's Keralam. When we write in Malayalam, it's Keralam, but when we write in English, it's Kerala. So that needs to be corrected, because this is it's also about preserving the linguistic identity of Kerala, is what the Chief Minister had said when he was introducing the resolution in the Legislative Assembly. Interestingly, in January, the Kerala State BJP also extended support. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, in fact, wrote a letter to Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijay extending support to this decision, saying that, you know, the name should be Keralam and not Kerala. In fact, all of their campaigns have also been Vikasitha Keralam and not Kerala. So they have also been very conscious about not calling Kerala but Keralam always. So after Rajiv Chandrasekhar's letter, he also mentioned that he has spoken to the centre also to ensure that this is done, because it's also part of a state demand that's coming in. It's been a long-standing demand. So finally, the demand has been accepted, and from now on, we will not call it Kerala, we'll call it Keralam. So even when we are taking the name, we'll have to be careful and not refer it to as Kerala, but Keralam.
All right, we'll totally ensure that in the future. Thank you, Shivimol, for getting us all the details. Moving on, the Karnataka High Court granted interim relief to actor Ranveer Singh. The court stayed any coercive action against him until the next hearing. At the same time, the court strongly reprimanded Ranveer Singh over allegations that he mimicked a character from the movie Kantara. The court emphasized that as an influencer, Ranveer must not hurt anyone's religious sentiments. It stated that even though Ranveer has the right to act freely, he should not forget his responsibilities. The judge further observed that all religious sentiments must be respected. The court added that Ranveer was reckless and had no right to act in the manner that he did. Let me take this to my colleague Sagairaj joining us on the broadcast. Sagairaj, while we understand that there is temporary relief for Ranveer Singh, as the court has also said that no action is to be taken against him until the next hearing, when will the next hearing be? And do take us through the details of what the court said.
The next hearing will be on Monday, and the court yesterday, which has admitted the petition which was been filed by Ranveer Singh, initially the counsels of Ranveer Singh has requested for immediate hearing. That's when the judge was furious, stating that just because he's a Bollywood actor, he cannot go ahead and hear the case, and it was scheduled today. And as again today, he has questioned as an influencer, as a role model, a lot of people will get attracted to whatever he is trying to do. So when he is trying to mimic the god or Daiva, what do you say in the movie, it is going to hurt the sentiments of the people. So you should be well aware about it. And that's when the council went on to say that he got married to a Karnataka. Deepika Padukone is from Karnataka. So he is aware about the culture of Karnataka, and probably he made a mistake, and he has even apologized for that. But still, it is still online, and there are FIR which has been registered. They have requested to quash the FIR. The entire petition is to quash the FIR, and the court will hear the case again on Monday.
All right, Sagairaj, many thanks for getting us the latest. Moving on to a shocking health alert for Bengaluru residents. Vegetables sold across the city, including those labelled organic, have been found to contain dangerously high levels of lead and pesticide residues. A fresh investigation by the Central Pollution Authorities have confirmed what an environmental watchdog flagged nearly 2 years ago. Produce grown in and around Bengaluru may be contaminated. The report submitted to the National Green Tribunal reveals that some vegetables contain lead levels up to 20 times higher than the safe permissible limit. What's even more alarming, so-called organic produce is not immune. The big question is, how safe is the food on your plate? Watch this report.
Bengalurians, remember, next time when you are trying to buy vegetables and fruits, you should be very cautious. According to the latest report submitted by the Central Control of Pollution Board, has mentioned that close to 26% of vegetable samples out of 72 vegetables which has been collected across the city of Bengaluru contains high lead in all these vegetables, which is more than what is required. And the highest lead samples which has been found was in brinjal. According to the report, branded brinjal, which has been branded as organic, contained around 1.953 mg of lead, about 20 times more than the prescribed limit of the lead.
Moving on, Tamil Nadu is celebrating the 76th birth anniversary of former Chief Minister Jayalalithaa. As the celebrations begin, the split within the AIADMK has once again come out in the open. At the AIADMK headquarters, Party General Secretary Edapadi K. Palanisamy is leading the commemoration. EPS is celebrating the occasion along with AIADMK cadres. At the party headquarters, he garlanded Amma's statue and a mega cake that was also cut in her remembrance. On the other hand, expelled AIADMK leader VK Sasikala is also marking Amma's birth anniversary. During the event, Sasikala hinted at making a major announcement. Jayalalitha's close aide, who has been expelled from the party, maintained that she continues to uphold Amma's legacy. This comes just days after her nephew, TTV Dinakaran, joined hands with the NDA.
It is the 78th birthday of former Chief Minister and former AIADMK Supremo Jayalalithaa that is being celebrated in a grand manner. Considering this as the election year, that is Edapadi K. Palanisamy, the General Secretary of AIADMK, who earlier celebrated this birthday by cutting a large cake for their Amma Jayalalithaa, and now they're also providing free meal to the people, to the AIADMK cadres and everyone over here, a ritual that is conducted every year. So this is the time for 2026 elections. AIADMK is being prepared, getting prepared as well. At the same time, you could see large food being provided over here, and this is how they are celebrating the birthday of their former Supremo, Jayalalithaa, whom they call as Amma, and that is how we could see right now the celebrations are happening. KC Velumani and various other leaders are also along with Edapadi K. Pariswamy, who are over here to celebrate the birthday. Every year, this is a ritual as they cut a cake, a big cake, sometimes even weighing the years of Jayalalithaa. That's how they used to cut the cake, and now a celebration is also occurring as we speak. This is the General Secretary, Edapadi K. Pariswamy. After cutting the cake, he's over here and he's also providing free meal to the people as a form of celebration. And that is Edapadi K. Pariswamy, who's actually providing the meal at this spot. A very, very big day for them, for AIADMK entirely, and that's the reason all the leaders are present over here and this free meal is being distributed. This is how they are celebrating the 78th birthday of Jayalalithaa.
அதாவது இன்னைக்கு நிகழ்ச்சி இருக்கு அம்மா பிறந்த நாள் நிகழ்ச்சி நடத்துறோம் நல்ல செய்தி வரும்.
Cutting across to my colleague Pramod now joining us on the broadcast. Pramod, while Jayalalitha's legacy stands fragmented, Sasikala is saying that she has good news in store. Many who are speculating that she could be floating her own party. What more are you picking up?
Well, Suresha, two important things are happening today. The first one has already happened in the morning. That is about the Edapadi K. Pariswamy, the General Secretary of AIADMK. During Amma's birthday, Jayalalitha's birthday, he goes ahead and gives the third announcement of this. And this is about giving 10,000 rupees per family as a poll promise, claiming that due to the high rise of essential items and the way DMK government has raised the property tax, water tax and such. This was the first half. But right now, we are expecting that Sasikala, who has gone all the way to Ramanathapuram, Paschimbon, where she's actually participating in Jayalalitha's birthday over their celebrations. She has also said that she will give a good news. Actually, we also broke the news earlier stating that there is a high chance of her going ahead and starting her own party that could also kind of have the same kind of acronym as AIADMK, probably Amma Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. Not Anna, but Amma. So there is quite a lot of possibilities of that, but only Sasikala is going to make the announcement, and we just have to wait for another 10 or 15 minutes for this to happen, Suesha.
But how much of a weight could that carry given the fact that there are already big players and especially ahead of the polls with EPS, Dinakaran already having chosen their side, can Sasikala really make her way forward?
Well, so one thing is very certain, Suresha. She has a little and a certain amount of support from the certain car she comes out like. So that was definitely going to play a very important role. But the important aspect is that that actual particular group or community is also dominated by OPS and also by TTV Dinakaran, who is already with NDA. And the important aspect is that if she's going to flow for the party now, she will have to wait at least 3 years to get a common symbol and contest. So it looks like she might only go ahead with at least 40 candidates or such, and that too independently. If she wants, she would make them feel this in this particular election. But the important aspect is that Sasikala does not want to be left out. And another important aspect is that she was calling for a unified AIADMK, and if she floats her own party, that would turn disruptive. So we are just like waiting to see whether if she's going to start her own party or she's going to have any other different kind of news for this particular election, Suesha.
All right, Pramod, many thanks for getting us those details. Well, a chilling murder that has stunned Lucknow after a 21-year-old allegedly shot dead his father, chopped his body into pieces and stored the pieces in a blue drum inside their house. All this after an argument over NEET exam. First up, all the details of what happened.
NEET, a rifle, a father-son duo, a blue drum, and one fateful day. On the 20th of February, inside a house in Lucknow's Ashiana locality, a heated argument broke out between 21-year-old Akshat Singh and his father, liquor businessman Manvendra Singh. The trigger, pressure to crack NEET. Police say the fallout was fatal. During the confrontation, Akshat allegedly fired his father's licensed rifle, killing him on the spot. What followed has horrified the city. Investigators say the son dragged the body downstairs, allegedly planning to dump it into the Gomti River. When he failed, he allegedly bought a saw and dismembered the body. The head and torso were stuffed inside a blue plastic drum inside the house. The hands and legs were dumped elsewhere. The victim's minor daughter reportedly saw the aftermath, but was allegedly threatened and confined for days.
As you see, the crime scene has been logged by the UP police, but the entire thing happened inside this particular room where the 21-year-old Akshat firstly killed his father by firing a bullet over his head, then cut his body in two parts and then stored it in a blue drum.
ये प्री प्लान मर्डर किया है उसने बेटे ने. क्या उसको ईगो हर्ट था, क्या प्रॉब्लम थी, मुझे नहीं पता. और बेटी के सामने ही ये सारी वारदात हुई है. बेटी के सामने सारी वारदात हुई है. और बेटी का ये कहना है कि हमको डरा दिया गया था भाई द्वारा. कह दिया गया था कि तुम किसी से कहना नहीं, तुमको भी गोली मार देंगे.
Acid was also recovered from the house. Family members claim it may have been used to destroy evidence. Neighbors say when Manvendra went missing, a WhatsApp group was created. Akshat was part of it. In fact, he even kept sharing updates and even went to the police to file a missing complaint.
अभी 22 तारीख की कहानी यही बनियान पहन के बैठे थे, अपने पिताजी को ढूंढ रहे थे. हाँ, ढूंढ रहे थे. FIR खुद करने गए थे वो.
मतलब मर्डर हुआ 21 को, 22 को खुद ढूंढ रहे थे. खुद FIR करने गए हैं. आप लोगों से क्या कह रहे थे?
कह रहे कि हमारे पिताजी दिख नहीं रहे हैं.
Suspicion grew when CCTV showed the father entering the house but never walking out of it.
19 तारीख की रात के 1 बजे वो शादी से आए और वो अंदर गए हैं.
उसके बाद वो गाड़ी उस गेट से ना बाहर निकली और ना मानवेंद्र उस गेट से बाहर निकले.
गाड़ी तो उन्होंने यहाँ खड़ी करी.
तो मानवेंद्र अंदर गए. CCTV में दिखाई पड़ा. मानवेंद्र CCTV से बाहर आए, वो
दिखाई नहीं पड़ा.
Police interrogation cracked the case. Body parts were recovered from the house and other locations. Akshat Singh is now under arrest, charged with murder and destruction of evidence. From NEET pressure to patricide, it's a family torn apart in one fatal flash of rage. With Samad Srivastava in Lucknow, Bureau Report, India Today.
I'll take you through details of some of these gruesome cases that have been seen in the recent years. Most importantly, the one we just saw on 20th February 2026 in Lucknow. This 21-year-old boy who killed his father over stress of his career and being asked to take the NEET exam is what the police is saying. Such was the confrontation that he chopped his father's body. He first killed his father, then chopped his body, and that too in front of his minor sister. You would remember what had happened in January 2025 in Hyderabad, where there was such a case that came up of a Hyderabad man who chopped his wife's body parts into pieces, then boiled the body parts in a pressure cooker in order to avoid any sort of scrutiny that may come on him. It was in October 2024 in Bengaluru when a man strangulated his girlfriend, chopped her body into 59 pieces. And then, of course, that case that had happened in Delhi in November 2022, Aftab Poonawala, who killed his live-in partner, Shraddha Walkar. He chopped her body into 35 pieces, and that's how he tried getting rid of her until the law took its course. We also have special guests joining us on this broadcast, Dr. Jayalalithaa, who's a criminal and clinical psychologist, and Chandra Bhushan Sharma, who's an educationist. I'd like to first come to you, Dr. Jayalalithaa, to really understand from you, how do you read into the psychological triggers in this particular case?
See, these are the hate crimes. This doesn't happen all of a sudden overnight. The person must have been, contemplating giving this kind of an end to it. And I don't believe it's a one-man show. There must have been some kind of discussions. What I gathered from the other news broadcasts, that he was heading probably some alcoholic theka of his father, and he wanted to continue doing this. He had a different plan for his career or earning. He wanted to run a eatery and open a bar and all that. Now, when you have already seasoned yourself by running a alcoholic outlet, I'm sure the kind of peer support he gets there, he must have contemplated this kind of a crime earlier. And it happens with all criminals that they think they are very smart, they are very intelligent, and nobody will be able to catch them. My shocking realization is in this particular case that if he has given such a brutal, gruesome end to the father, what happened? All right, one sister, you have been saying that that sister was threatened, but what about the other younger brother? He is also, I gathered, that he was working in police, and his family was also there. So why this kind of a thing happened? Now, cutting off the body is not an easy job. If he has done that, he has gone, he has purchased the saw, and he has purchased the drum, it must have taken some time. And who are the ones who were helping him?
Right.
One single person cannot chop off the body, dispose it off. I think the police investigation should also concentrate on finding out who were his ally, who were supporting him. So one has to find out when did he plan. And this kind of hate crime, as I said, it doesn't happen all of a sudden. It must have been, the boy must have given some inkling, some kind of a, clue that he is not liking his father. And he probably found it's very difficult to overpower the father otherwise. And when he felt that he is not going to win over this man, he thought, let me finish him off. And how can he finish him off? He thought, I can give it an end by doing this. And you know what happens? Once the criminal psyche is such, once they learn that this can be done, they go ahead and they feel it's easy.
All right, let me take this to Mr. Chandrabhushan Sharma also. Sir, while this could be a different case, but fact also remains that there have often been cases related to NEET where students have gone on to take an extreme step. Sometimes their own lives, and sometimes, like in this particular case, we see taking the life of his father. How do you describe this extreme pressure that students often go through?
I don't think that this is a case of pressure to any student or to this age group. I think we'll need to go into the family background and business so that we can analyze. I will look at it from two aspects. One is the family of the child. Look, the family had alcohol business, and also the father was running a couple of other pathological labs. They were making a lot of money. We will have to look into the sort of business that this was. And child.
Mr. Sharma, unfortunately, that audio line is not very clear. We'll try and reconnect that with you. But I'd like to go back to Dr. Jayanti. As you said, ma'am, that it's not easy to chop off the body parts. In this particular case, there could be other accomplices. But we've also listed out the cases in the last few years that have been as gruesome in nature. Do you read into a certain pattern when they go on to firstly commit a crime in such a confrontation and then plan to dispose of the body in this manner?
Yes, there is, apart from the criminal propensity, there is a psychopathic component in their persona. You mentioned about Shraddha murder case. I was interviewed at length by various channels, and my take was that, this man not only killed her, put her into body parts and put that parts in the refrigerator, and then in the same room he was dating another female. So these kind of psychopathic people, they have no remorse, they don't feel the pain of others, they are very self-centered, and they only want to do what they feel like. They're very impulsive, they don't even plan about their future. So I think it's high time. You see, even for this Meerut case, the blue drum, there also, the girl did everything with an accomplice, right? And she had her boyfriend helping her. Now, once you come to the media, once you learn about this, you take on that modus operandi, thinking that if she can do, if he can get away with, I can also. And I have interviewed I've interacted also with couple of chronic, criminals, those who have nothing else to do but commit the crime in Tihar jail. And they said, ma'am, kya hoga? Jada se jada jail ho jayega. That's it. I think it's high time you have to bring it out in the open that there is a fast track court. You cannot get away with these kind of crimes and you should punish. We had another case in Bengaluru, I think, where the techie came back from USA and killed both the parents, The father was an Air Force officer and mother was probably a dentist. So I think these kind of examples, when you hear, the criminal psyche feels if they can do it, I can also do it. And
and the important mention you make, ma'am, is of the blue drum, because like you're saying that there have been recent cases that have had a particular association when it comes to the blue drum and disposing of the body parts in that. At the moment we are running short of time. I want to thank you for joining us here on India Today, but the case certainly remains in focus as we will update you with all that comes out in the investigation. That's all that we could pack for you in this edition of Super 6. Thank you so much for watching.